Hey everybody, Zach here. Thanks for coming back to the channel. And today we are going to be looking at some rough plumbing. We got the plumbers in here this week and they set up our vanity in the kitchen and they plumbed the bathroom for the shower. And it'll be interesting to look at that because we got the mixing valve going on the opposite side. We might need to change a couple things over there because of that, but we'll take a look at that today. We got electricians coming in today and they're going to be wrapping up what they need to do. So I need to build a fridge wall over here, which we can take a look at, and work with both my subs to try to wrap up our MEP today. First off, I need to get my plumbing inspection done, and then I need to get my electrical inspection done, and then I can finally get my building inspection done. And then we can move forward into insulation and into plaster. But it's not an easy process. Everybody needs to align, and we need to all work together to try to make this happen and make sure that everything's in the right place too, because once plaster goes on, you don't want to be ripping it off to redo some stuff. So let's take a look over here. We've got this area over here. This is where our fridge is going, right about there, right in this cove. And I ripped out the wall here that goes against the chimney. I need to build a new wall there because it was just in terrible condition. And that way the electrician can put his box on there for the fridge, and the plumber also needs to run his water line for the fridge as well, for the fridge filter and the ice maker. So hopefully we'll get them to install that today as well. I'm going to bring you over here and show you what we got going on. So if you remember last time you were on the channel, we had a big vent stack right here. Well, we removed that, and here's our new plumbing. And it goes all the way up in this wall. And let's see if I can, it just dies right there for now. You can see it's capped off for now. And then if you look up here, there's the old vent still sticking out of the roof. That's something that we need to deal with as well. I'm trying to get a roofer over here to put a boot on for us, but haven't been able to get a hold of somebody to make that happen. So that's another big part of making this rough inspection happen, is we got to have the penetration through the roof so the inspector can see that it's properly placed. So this is just a vent. We got no fixtures upstairs, so this is just a vent that goes right through the roof, comes down, and it goes all the way down, and this is a chase that goes all the way down into the basement. Comes over here. This is where our vanity is going to be, or our sink cabinet. And we've got our two supply lines right here, over here. And this is what I like to do when I'm doing a remodel, and I'm running a remodel. I like to take strap-in and run it across any areas that are going to have electrical or plumbing and cabinets, and that way I can mark out each cabinet, and I can mark out any important details that people might need to know. As you can see here, I wrote, this is for the plumbers. I got plumber's notes. It says we have a right side drain, so the sink is going to be draining to the right side of the cabinet, so they know where to put their plumbing. Keep it more towards the right of this cabinet. The fridge filter is an external filter for this fridge, so we're going to actually put it in the cabinet as well. And I just wrote on here that we need to keep that to the back, because we also have a pull-out trash going underneath that cabinet as well, so we're really limited on space. And on top of that, we have a garbage disposal too. So it's going to be pretty jam-packed down there. They're not going to be able to really put like cleaning supplies or anything, but it'll work out. And then I wrote that over here as well. just so people know when I'm not on site, they can reference this and see, oh, there's a rollout trash on the left side of the cabinet. It's just reassuring people. I've already told them in person that this is happening, but you never know if that's the actual person that's going to be doing the work. Everybody has employees. A new employee might be the one working on this, and the message didn't get relayed to them. Well, right here, all the information for them. They can see it. If they have any questions, they can ask their supervisors. Just really makes things, I've learned it makes things go a lot smoother. I've done the same thing on this wall. This is my piece of strapping here. And I just wrote simple things like 30-inch range. And then we got a 15-inch cabinet here, 15-inch cabinet here. It's a pretty simple wall, but it's still good for them to know exactly where to put. Like the electrician needs to put an outlet over each cabinet, so now they know exactly where those cabinets are going to sit, and they can make sure the outlets are symmetrical to the stove, which is very important because people will look at that, and if they're not symmetrical, they're going to think that you didn't really think out the plan of this job at all, and we don't want that. But it also is helpful here too because we got gas, so when he moves this gas line, he'll know exactly where to put that. And same with the electricians. They have to install these electrical service for behind your stove. If you have a gas stove here in Massachusetts and you're continuing to use a gas stove and you're doing a full remodel, that you have to run electrical for an induction stove because eventually they're going to want us all to transition over to induction. And so by code now you have to actually put it in while you can so that people down the road can switch over to it, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I do not like induction stoves at all. They're really hard to regulate the temperature. If you need to go from sauteing something over to just like simmering something, it's with gas, it's like that. But induction, I don't know, maybe they've made advancements to where it's better. All right, so here we are in the bathroom again. Let me give you a big span of it. See what's going on in here. All right, and so on this side of the bathroom, we got the mixing valve. There's the drain, center drain. And then if we go this way, there's actually the shower head. So the mixing valve and the shower head are on different sides of the shower, and we did that on purpose because we have a little knee wall that we've talked about that's going in here, and you don't want to have to open your glass door, walk into the shower and turn it on and get sprayed with cold water and then come back out and wait for the water to heat up. This way you can just open up the door, regulate your temperature without getting sprayed by water, and then get in whenever you're ready. So put a little thought into that. Try to make that happen. Right here we got the drain. So we got the vanity right there. And then we were able to move the toilet over. It was really too tight to this wall over here, this wall. And we probably would have got called out. And so we lucked out. We were able to move this over. We're putting a toilet in here that is, it has like an apron, I think it's called. It's like the sides of the toilet are completely smooth. You don't see like the trap. A lot easier to clean. But they have an option for this toilet where you can actually conceal the supply line as well. You can put your supply line almost directly behind the toilet, and the back of the toilet is hollow, and so the supply line has space to actually be back there, and you don't even see the supply line. So we opted for that design, and I think it's going to be a really good look. We'll see that down the road. Looks like they had to make a couple. They had to tie into the main stack here, as you can see. You got a new line, a new T right there. But really, all in all, it wasn't that much. I was pleasantly surprised that they didn't have to really go super hard and just dismantling this main stack of the house. That was a worry of mine for sure. But we'll be moving. I actually have to look at that placement of that mixing valve today. I have a feeling that that's not center to the shower, and that's going to be an issue. So I might have to cut out that stud that it's right next to, and we might have to move that over. But won't be a big deal. But yeah, I'll take you along for some of the work that I'm doing today, and that's coming up right now. Hey, you guys. So it's the end of the day today, and I just wanted to show you some interesting stuff that I'm dealing with now. I'm in the bathroom on the project, and as you can see, if I step out of the way here, I sistered the joists, and I did that so that I can level the floor. I'm going from flush with the original joists at the exterior wall here, and we're about like 3/4 of an inch out of level now. Well, now we're level 3/4 of an inch up. We had to come to level this floor, so it's sunk 3/4 of an inch at the doorway into the bathroom. But not only are we losing 3/4 of an inch at the threshold to the door, which already is kind of upsetting because now I can't make it so that the tile seamlessly transitions into the hardwood floor, which I was really hoping for, but this is pretty typical on bathrooms to happen, especially on older houses. You got to work with a level surface, and if you're not leveling the rest of the house, unfortunately, you got to deal with that, and you'll have different services. So we'll just have a little transition that we either do out of marble or we'll do some oak, make like a oak transition. But beyond that, another issue that's going on here is the plumbing. So this is the P-trap right here to my shower, and it comes around this way and then down past the camera and ties into the stack I showed you earlier. Well, in the last video, I was telling you how I was kind of concerned about where that stack, where we tie into the main stack, where the height of that is, because the plumbers have to have a certain pitch to maintain so that the water drains properly out of the shower and it doesn't back up on you. Well, my concerns were justified today, and my plumber told me that for him to get the proper pitch, that he needs to actually notch this joist, and that the plumbing is going to stick above this joist, which obviously is an issue. You want all your plumbing to be below the floor system. And so where it sits right now, even on top of the little bit that I leveled it, my floor system to sit flush with the top of this plumbing has to be another 1.5 inches up, which is crazy. If I made that from the shower all the way to the door threshold into the hallway, that would be an extra 2.25 inches of just framing, and then another inch of backer and tile. So that's 3.25 inches. That's a step almost that you're stepping up into this bathroom, and we absolutely cannot have that. So this is my idea, and this is what I'm going to go with, is we have a knee wall that's going to be right here, and then we have a curb that will be where you step into the shower. Well, I can use that knee wall and this curb to act as a transition between two different heights of the floor. So I can essentially take right where this wall starts and everything back this way to the threshold, to the doorway, will just remain the same. We'll still just have that 3/4 of an inch that we had to raise it. We'll have a tiny threshold, no big deal. Where this wall is, I'll have to build basically a platform, and it'll make the step into the shower a little bit bigger than a typical step would be, but nothing out of the ordinary really. There already is a step, a curb that is going there. So for us to just make that a little bit bigger will not be a problem at all. That way we can properly have this floor with the plumbing underneath it, because I didn't want to have to like shave my subfloor, the back, and leave just a thin like 1/4 inch of plywood or something to save some of the height. This way, this acts as its own separate entity, and the rest of the room acts as its own as well. I think it's a good solution to this problem. The only issue I'm having right now is that my floor where I'm going to be transitioning, the plumbing over on this side over here is still above the sistered floor joist that I installed a little bit past my knee wall into where my vanity is going to be. So I got to do some interesting framing here and figure out a way to bring it to where that wall is. Luckily, we have a vanity that's going all the way from wall to wall. So if I have the plumbing sticking out a little bit, it's not an issue. It'll be hidden. So I think all in all, even with the problems that are coming my way and some of the things that we had to do, I think there's some really good solutions here. And that's part of being a general contractor. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that you're going to run into on a project, you just have to have an answer for, and you got to be able to come up with a solution. People are paying you to be the problem solver, and so it takes years and years of doing this stuff and running into issues to where you can feel confident in making decisions like this. This might not be the best decision, but I think it's a really good decision, and it's going to give this project a really good look. Maybe someone else has a better idea, and that's great, but I think this is going to work just fine. And for anybody that's concerned about the notching of this joist, we're well within the code of notching this joist. So you have to be within the first third of the span of this joist. So we're in the first third. This joist spans all the way to halfway through the house over there, if not all the way through the house. And then also you can only notch 1/3 of the width of the board as well. So this joist is 7.5, even 7 3/4, and we only notched 1.5 inches out of it. So we're well within not notching more than 1/3 of it. So when the building inspector comes by here, he'll have nothing to say about that. He won't cite us on that. So I think we're going to do just fine here. Tomorrow I'm going to get some floor in here. We'll actually have something to sit on. Right now I'm just kind of balancing on some joists. It's been tough doing this work that way, but that's just the way it goes. We'll get a floor in here. We'll continue doing some framing. We're going to do the LVL headers on the windows, and then frame out this bathroom vanity mirror, which I guess I can have you take a look at this. We got the vent right here. The vent coming over, and that's where it ties into the stack. I showed you this earlier. Well, it's right at pretty high height right here that I might actually have to make them move this, because my client is pretty short, and so we're actually going with a 33.5 inch vanity to lower it on her a little bit. And then we also want to bring the mirror down, but there's also a faucet to contend with. She's getting a nice fancy faucet, and the medicine cabinet has to open up, so it has to be high enough to not obviously hit the faucet. So it's going to be really close where they put this. We're going to have to figure out if this has to get adjusted a little bit, but that'll be part of my day tomorrow, is working on all this. I'll show you what we come up with and how that's going to look. But yeah, I had to move their mixing valve here. My plumber, for whatever reason, centered the drain nicely and centered the shower head nicely, but the mixing valve, they just had it kicked to the side for whatever reason. Don't know why. So I opened up the spot for them. They can do what they need to do, and then I'll beef it up once it's installed properly. I think that's it for the shower, or the whole bathroom. I think that's all we were doing today. Let's take you in over here to the kitchen. Bring my light with me. Try to brighten this place up. It's starting to get dark so early now. It's a shame, especially on these remodels where we have no lighting. All right, so as you can see, the electricians were in here today. They reran all their wires. If you remember, they was all coiled up right here for me to do some framing. Well, they fixed that up, tied it back into their boxes. We got our garbage disposal and dishwasher line sitting right there. The panel box, they cleaned that up. You can take a quick look at that. If I have a light to this. No. They got everything labeled, cleaned up nicely. Everything's to the side. We got labels on everything there, so they can tie into that nicely. If you look over at this wall here, they got the right down there, that big box. That's the electrical outlet I was telling you about for down the road if someone gets the induction stovetop. We got 2 counter outlets that he installed that are going to be symmetrical. And then I even framed out the this fridge wall here. So frame that out, and they were able to, I don't even know where this is pointing. Can't even see it, but they were able to, right there, get our outlet. You can barely even see it, but this is for our fridge here. So we're able to let them do everything that they needed to do. They're ready for their inspection. That's probably going to happen next week. The plumbers are a different story. I was really hoping they were going to be here today, but they left me in the dark, and we'll just have to figure it out. It's kind of good, though. I was able to do some adjustments, do some framing, get this looking better so that they can come back in here and just bang it out. All right, well, I'll check in with you guys on the next day. I think this is the end of the day for me. Hopefully you'll see the framing come together and we can start moving forward on this project. See you tomorrow. Hey everybody, it's the next day on the job and we got some extra framing done here now. So here's the knee wall that I've been speaking about in the past few videos. I don't have it fully secure yet. I'm probably going to put a threaded rod into this and sink it all the way down. But I'm not too concerned about this knee wall because we do have an entire vanity top going here. That will be screwed into that, and it'll be screwed into the adjacent wall over here. So this is all going to be locked in together. Not too worried about it. It's not freestanding at all. Did a little bit of framing on the medicine cabinet as well, and I'll show you some video of that. But I was able to determine the height of the bottom of the medicine cabinet and make sure that the faucet that we are using is gonna be able to be operable even if the medicine cabinet is open, or if you have the medicine cabinet open and you have the faucet turned on, if you forget about it and try closing the door, it doesn't just smack into the faucet. That's what we're trying to avoid here. I know most people probably aren't gonna even have the faucet on while they're using the medicine cabinet, but just in case, we like to take that into consideration. Was able to frame this out and figured out that the depth of this medicine cabinet is going to be 5 inches, and unfortunately our framing in the wall here is only 3 inches, and so as you know, I'm going to have to pad this wall out now, just so that the medicine cabinet sits flush to the drywall. and I don't have to open up the wall back here, which happens to be a closet on the other side, and build some funky box. We're just going to pad this wall out. We have the space to do it, especially considering this knee wall here. The vanity is only going to come to about here, so if we pad it out another 2 inches, no big deal. It's not going to make a difference. This room's already pretty tight as it is, so I think it's going to be just fine. If you remember correctly, I did some discussion about the plumbing in this room and how some things had to get adjusted and changed. We ran into an issue with the floor. Well, today was my day of trying to wrap my head around this floor detail, and I think I did a pretty good job about it. Maybe you can tell me what you think about it, but I was able to get the subfloor down and break the 2 zones from each other using this knee wall. And as you'll see in a minute, the curb down here is the partition between these 2 different floor spaces. And we're going to raise this other floor up 1.5 inches, sheet it with Advantech, and no one will be the wiser, because this curb here is going to kind of make it so that people don't notice it as much. I did, after getting the sheathing down, was able to determine that we are about 3/4 of an inch up on this doorway side. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to put some sort of threshold there and not have a seamless transition between the tile and the hardwood floor in the hall. But that's all right. It's pretty common in bathrooms because of this exact issue. The plumbing can tend to be an issue in these small bathrooms, or if people are trying to do like an infinity drain kind of style where you have no glass door even. The tile just flows from one part of the room all the way into the shower area. Usually that involves cutting down some floor joists and getting creative, and it usually involves you not being able to tie back into the hallway and having it flush. So not a big deal. Homeowner's on board with that, and we're going to keep moving forward with this. Spoke to the plumber yesterday, and he's cool with all the changes that we're going to be making in here, the adjustments. And I did luck out here with this vent. I'll actually take you over here to look at some of this stuff. Is this vent here. If you remember yesterday, I was talking about how I was worried about the height of this vent. Well, as you can see, here's the framing for the bottom of the medicine cabinet. It worked out pretty good to where it's just above it. That just was sheer luck. That was not coordination, but I'll take it. So over here, I have their mixing valve just kind of tacked to the side for now. This is kind of the nice part about this Uponor, is you can kind of move this stuff all around and it doesn't ruin the integrity of the joints. So this is just over to the side for now. Another interesting fact is my plumber told me that with this mixing valve, we actually might have to add some sort of pressure regulator. So it'll be interesting to find out what we have to do with that, if that's just some sort of device that gets spliced into the cold and hot lines, or if it's spliced in afterwards into the line that runs to the shower head, maybe. I don't know. I'll take you along and we'll figure that stuff out together. But I'll give you a little bit of a better look here at the curb. So here's the knee wall right here. We got the knee wall, and then here is the curb. And so we got the curb here. There's the Advantech floor outside of the shower. And then this is going to be the shower floor. And like I said, I'm going to add 1.5 inches to the top of all those sistered floor joists that I added, and then sheet it. And that way we can get past this issue right here. As you can see, this plumbing sticks above the joists. So that's what all this work is about, is figuring that out. It's going to be all good. Well, I don't think I did anything in this room today. Nothing new, no new updates on that side of things. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Next time you see me, we'll have plumbing finished, and we're going to be wrapping up framing. We're going to work on the headers of the windows and try to finalize all the framing details and get moved on and get past the rough phase of this project. See you on the next one.